Hello, YouTube. Today we're going to review Stranger Things Season 5, Volume Deutsch. Yeah, the characters is like way too on the nose. There's a lot of arguments in the show that don't need to be there. It's like they're writing the show. They're like, okay, we need arguments. Let's build a story and the plot around that instead of saying, let's build a good story. And if an argument like makes it better, let's do that. They know everything. Even like the kid, he knows the quantum mechanics and he like knows what's it called? Self narration. There's a lot of when they're explaining everything, they explain stuff to
Exposition.
exposition. There's a bunch of exposition in the show. It's a bunch of scenes on top of each other. There are parts that I do like from the show. Like I want to know what the hell's gone on with Henry. I want to know more about the military in Vecna, but every time we get there, it's like 2 seconds and then we move on.
Yeah, severely overdosed on characters and unnecessarily convoluted narrative. What they did with Will in the second half of this was just like, ugh. I had really high hopes for the character come episode 4. He was like my favorite thing about it. And then they just threw him in the dumpster. He turned more whiny than ever. We'll get to that more later.
Yeah.
Um, it's it's
we'll get
it's
to that later. It's
it's a
hilarious.
it's a severe case of like too much fan service, man. They got a bunch of characters that they know the audience loves, so they don't want to kill them off. They don't want to do any high stakes maneuvering of them. Characters that should have died or stayed basically out of the show are back in it. And then they introduced new characters to try and I guess get a spin-off going. That was so really unnecessary. Um, yeah, it there's parts in it that I enjoyed. Generally, if we're gonna talk about the final episode, the second half of it I enjoyed more than the first half. It comes to this big battle, and it's so Avengers Initiative kind of stuff, and it just there's nothing sentimental about it. It's all hollow, it's all shallow, it's all big spectacle instead of anything that is resembles anything from the first couple seasons of the show. The characters get on my nerves. There's only a few of them that I still enjoyed by the end of the show. And even then it's like, do something. Move on. Stop bitching. Um yeah, so I don't know. It took them 3 years to more than 3 years to pump this out, man. That was the result.
Because I just finished watching
Yeah,
it, so
man.
I'm still
It's still
this
fresh.
still
Yeah.
fresh. So I have notes here, and I'll touch on them. But yeah, keep talking, my boy.
Yeah, man. I mean, most of our focus is really going to be talking about the final episode, right? Because leading up to it,
Yeah.
a lot of nothing happens, and when I say a lot of nothing happens, it's just a lot of bantering, it's a lot of bitching, and it's a lot of preparation monologues where you got to carry the going. This is this, and this is that,
Oh,
and
bro.
we need to get this into that in order for this to be constructed. It was just like,
But
oh,
they do that
how many
with
times are they gonna do the same thing?
they're doing that over four different it's like they didn't have enough time to truly finish the show, so they're doing those scenes, those expedition kind of not expedition dumps, but those scenes like 4 times, and it's like it's a chore to me. Like
It is,
episodes
man.
5, 6, and 7 was a chore to listen to watch because it was like ADHD. There was so much stuff going on, and you even had the
Oh,
generic trope of, oh, in quantum physics, you got space, and then you spin, and you get the pen, and you put the pen through the piece of paper, or and it's like, oh, and that trope was in it, and it's like he's figured out quantum physics, even though in reality, like in physics, in reality, it takes time, it takes years of like research. But he's like, oh, I figured out how to like build this thing that can kill the Vecna, and he's
what
got
thing
no.
was that?
It was that thing that they built, that thing that was kind of gonna grab the roots and then like blow it up.
What?
Anyway, don't worry about it. Yeah, dude, in season 1, yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah. What's his name? I forgot his name. I'm so bad with names. The fat one, the fat character. He he's here. You know, he built some quantum mechanical thing algorithm to like save the day.
You talking about Dustin?
Dustin, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. He built.
oh, the thing that triangulates
Yeah,
in
I'm
all
not
its like
retarded.
locations and all that.
Yeah, but that stuff like that
Yeah, but that
takes.
doesn't kill Vecna. It just tracks things.
Yeah, but wasn't this thing where they're gonna this thing big bonk and then put this spring and then the spring goes up and that's like the demonstration of what they were gonna do.
That was explain how to get to the other dimension. Did you watch the show, bro?
Yeah, so yeah, okay, don't worry about it. Okay, anyway, next point. Like in season one, I feel like the parents were the leads of the show. They were really like the almost the best part, and the kids were like a cherry on top. Now I feel like the parents are there to be emotional support workers for the for 11 and the teenagers. Every time you see them, they're either in a stressful like trying to calm someone down, or they're trying to put down a fire that someone else did. I don't know. I feel like they're just being, it's like they're being overrun by the teenagers. All the teenagers are running over, you know? I don't feel like they've got that power anymore. But goddamn, though, I do
Yeah.
want to talk about that season 8, though. That last episode, dude, was like, damn, like, that's where the show shines. Is Hopper and those emotional scenes he has with 11, and then he has one with Drew, I believe. He has those emotional, those emotional scenes with him.
Yeah, but who's Drew?
You know I'm bad with names, Mitch.
That's Will.
Oh no, not Will, Mike.
Okay, yes, Mike. About moving on and all that
Yes,
stuff.
no, but he
Like
has that.
accepting those. Yes.
You didn't say, well, like, whoa, that was a powerful. When he had that speech with 11, and that was really powerful. And then he had that speech with Mike, like about moving on and
Mm.
stuff like that. I thought that was really good, like really good parts of the episode. But every other time we see Hop in that, it's like they just didn't know where to put him, because there's kids running everywhere with different side plots, and they're all boring.
Yeah.
It was so bored, dude. It was a snooze fest. Most of it was a
It was
snooze
too
fest.
convoluted, man. It was
They
too
shot
much of a
themselves in the
juggle act.
foot.
They have too many characters. They didn't even like dare to kill any of them off, man. Like, who died? The only character that
Oh,
died
dude.
of the main cast, no one of the main cast that we know and love died. So the stakes are all irrelevant. They're fighting a giant Godzilla-sized monster, and not a single one of them gets killed or injured or
No.
severely traumatized. Like, come on, put the
And
stakes higher in the
one of them's
narrative.
about to get shot. I think Hop not about to get shot in the head. And then that bearded guy comes with a grenade. He throws a grenade at the helicopter, and the helicopter blows up, and that stops Hop from getting shot. It's like it's a Mission Impossible type thing, but we know the characters
Yep,
aren't gonna die, so it's a shitty
yep,
scene. It's like there's no stakes, man. If you at
yep,
least have,
absolutely.
if imagine Hop, who's gonna get shot in the head there? Hop, was it? It was Hop.
Oh, 11 and Hopper,
Yeah,
like
Hop.
the soldier had them both.
They had I
Um,
think specifically on Hop's head. Like there was a
yeah,
crazy scene was about to get shot in the head. I'm like, dude, if they shoot him in the head, this would be insane. But I don't know if it would go good with
yeah.
the story. And also a second one where I think it's Michael or one of them was about to fall off a cliff. And I thought he fell and he was going to die, and he didn't die. He just like whoop, back to normal, like nothing happened.
Oh, Steve. You think it's Steve?
Steve, yeah.
Yeah, when they're climbing the tower.
I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah, I know.
that's the, because people have been talking about. Did you hear what happened in Stranger Things the last episode? I'm like, okay, something's gonna happen, right? I don't feel like I got that. What does Steve die there? Does he get off a bridge? No, okay. Oh, plot armor as usual.
Severe plot armor, man. Um, and like the whole, it's. I mean, it's been something I've been talking about for a long time, even back to like season 3. They have been rewriting the base narrative season by season. Like the very first season, there was no such thing as Vecna. There was no such thing as the character Henry. It was this weird supernatural entity MacGuffin that took into like an alternate dimension. That's all they had as a base. It was intriguing, it was mysterious, and no questions were answered.
Mm.
Season 2, they introduced a new MacGuffin, a new villain, which was the Mind Flayer. Again, it just felt like its own standalone creature. It's like, oh, cool, another thing to be interested about in the Upside Down. Then season 3 came along, and they've made the Mind Flayer pretty much the arch nemesis to 11. The Mind Flayer was back, but it was still just the Mind Flayer, right? It was its own entity, this cloudy, supernatural looking thing. Season 4 comes along and says, we're going to rewrite the whole origin of what the Upside Down is, what connection the Mind Flayer is to this new character named Vecna. And they like basically trying to tell us that Vecna was in on this the whole time from the beginning of the show. I didn't believe it, but I accepted it. It's like, all right, cool. This has been the puppeteer the entire time through this whole show. So they've given the show its visual villain, Vecna. And then season 5 comes along and says, well, actually, technically, no, it wasn't Vecna this whole time. It was the Mind Flayer again that manipulated his brain to do his bidding, but then plot twist, no, Vecna was never in control. It's just like, just give me a break, man. Just keep the mystery still there. Like have it poised in the narrative of just trying to conquer this presence, this threat to the world, not give it a face, not give it a backstory that goes absolutely nowhere. Because that's what they did with Vecna, unfortunately. I was really kind of reading into this whole idea that maybe we could have a good side to Vecna, a good side, the good side of Henry. And for a split second, they tease it with his backstory, with his childhood trauma. And I was like, oh, cool. All right. So they're going to suggest that Vecna this whole time has just been warped by the Mind Flayer. I like that. I like that. But within 2 seconds of that whole sequence, it's like, no, Will, I am in control the entire time. We need each other. It's just like, okay, that's lazy writing, man. They just
Yeah.
gave it a lazy poised ending. And. And I've been laughing about it for seasons now, but Nancy looking like, a cosplay Rambo through this was just laughable. I mean, they were all laughable, but Nancy's the one that like takes charge. Nancy's the one that's always got like all the ammunition for some reason. She's always the one shooting first, asking questions later, and every time she's got a gun in her hand that's bigger than her, I just laugh. It's just ugh. So yeah, there she is shooting an M16 at a giant freaking, fourth dimensional being, trying to be this hero, and I'm not feeling anything about it. I'm just laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
And then of course, even more to disbelief, there's Steve and Dustin with
Oh,
spears jabbing at this thing above them when like if I felt something jabbing at my foot, I'm gonna crush it straight away. You know, again, it's just plot convenience and very easily killed. Ironically, the Mind Flayer,
I
this
know.
this fourth dimensional cosmic entity that's been apparently the threat since season 2,
Yep.
so easily killed a with of course killing Vecna, but I don't know, man.
I want
It
to talk
was all
about.
spectacle.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah. It was all
you go.
spectacle.
I'm like, it was all spectacle, man. Nothing was grounded in any sentimental value. The characters I did enjoy for most of the show, even in this, I'm just like, all right, let's get through it. Let's get through it. Let's get through it. Because it's either two things. It's either explaining the plot MacGuffin or them bantering with each other. The banter,
Yeah.
man, has killed the show for me for the longest time. Season 3, I still hate season 3 more than this season. Season 3 almost sunk the series for me, but they continued it with season 4
Yeah.
and kind of redeemed itself. I still enjoyed season 4. It was
Mm-hmm.
not bad. There was an emotional stake involved because here's this entity that's basically a mass murderer killing kids, and we see that. We see him actually have victims. So in our mindsets, like, well, if these characters are on the chopping block, then everyone can be on the chopping block. So when the main cast are in danger or this thing's going after them, there is a sense of urgency. It's like, oh, this creature might actually kill them, especially with Max. Um, and this season there was nothing at all close to that feeling. The closest I got was probably in season four, episode four. Sorry, that was probably the peak of the season when we had a little clash with the Demogorgons and Vecna came in and Will gained his superpowers, which were only convenient for like another episode, and that was it. Ah, such a disappointment that. Um, I'm kind of rambling on here, but generally, all this for me is just pointing to season five being a great example of a rushed job, severely rushed. They needed to conclude it. They needed to finish it all up. So they wanted everything to be held tightly into a bow. Sorry, but in my opinion, overall, it didn't stick the landing. A lot of it really raised a lot more questions than it did actually answering things. Like if 11 and the others weren't born with these psychic powers, they came from Henry's blood, but it only came from Henry's blood because the Mind Flayer had a hold of him, you know, that he found this freaking rock thing that attached itself like a leech to Henry when he was a kid. It raises more questions like, well, how the hell did that scientist get this rock that's like part of the Mind Flayer from that other dimension? Like, if the Upside Down is meant to be a bridge to that other plane of existence, how did he get that freaking that MacGuffin rock thing without traveling through the Upside Down? And what the hell happened to the military after 11 disappeared? They all just magically vanished from the show. Like, where was the consequences for any of their like warmongering war crimes? Not to mention this whole cast of kids who were at gunpoint when 11 disappeared. They are all responsible for sabotaging the military, for like, you know, trading out secrets and even killing soldiers. Like, you'd think the military would want them executed or at least arrested. But no, it's like they just poof, they just disappear from the show. No explanation. Sarah Connor like disappears. There's no
Yep.
catharsis ending to killing her off or getting her just desserts. Like, okay, we're just gonna have to
Yeah,
sit there and
dude.
accept it.
Most of the show was either, like you said, arguing, or it was okay. This this show probably did this the most than any other movie or show ever, where a bunch of people meet up. All right, what's going on? This is going on. Oh, did you figure out a solution? I think we did. And someone else is like, oh, this is a better solution. They're like, okay, all right, pack up, get
My
Jimmy.
solution's better than yours.
No, they're like, get all right, bring the car over. Get Jimmy, get Jono, get Sheila. All right, we'll meet at the next spot. At the next spot, they do the same thing. They all come in, they do a plot thing, and then they're
Yep.
like, all right, get Jono, or take the bus stop down Davistown, and it's like it's just a bunch of
Too much,
point A to
man.
point B, too much moving around to get the point
If
through. And all I wanted to
if
see was all the stuff that you're talking about, the military stuff. I wanted to see all that more, but they were stuck. They shot themselves in the foot having to do all these other things.
and the military didn't make any sense. Like her involvement, Linda Hamilton. I'm just gonna call her Sarah Connor because I don't know her real character's freaking name. Was pointless. She's
Generic
meant to be the
military woman.
person extremely generic, and I really do apologize to giving that role to Linda
Yeah,
Hamilton.
exactly.
Like, that
Yeah.
was an insult. It's like giving Sigourney Weaver a janitor role. Like, what the? But she is meant to be the person that replaces Papa, right? She's meant to be the person that takes over his research and his involvement and the knowledge about the Upside Down. So that would lead me to assume she is aware of Vecna. She is aware of Henry. You know, in season four, it was quite clear that Popper's objective was to train 11 to be strong enough to kill Henry. That was the mission, that was the task. Like, all these governments agreed to train 11 to be their weapon against Henry and Vecna. She eventually escapes, whatever. But it seems to me that Sarah Connor's character in this does not even once mention or reference Vecna or this greater threat. Her whole ambition was to get the little girl, get 11, get 11, get 11, get 11. And I was just like,
Dude,
why?
every scene was her coming in going, yes, how is the progress?
I
Hmm.
am
Very
so in
good.
charge,
It's like
and I am
it's like an anime It's like an anime where you see like the guy is always in black. You don't see his face. He's like the big boss, and you see him once every while, and it's like, yes, and he's got subtitles, and you can barely hear what he says. That's like her. She's in there once every while, sprinkled in, and that she's just got a serious face, and she doesn't really do anything.
The soldier that is basically her second in command,
The
the big fella with the, like, extremely, like, squared face that looks like he's been, like, punched a couple
oh
times.
yes,
He had a lot more screen presence and a lot more screen involvement than Sarah Connor. I don't understand why his character could have taken what she does as well, because he's more interjected with the plot. He has this kind of like connection with Hopper and like this kind of rivalry that they have with each other. He opposes more of a threat because he actually gets into the skirmishes and all that stuff, and I believe his capabilities. I just don't understand why the things that Linda Hamilton's character does weren't just given to him. You know, like, and again, I get it. They needed someone from the '80s in the season to be in it because they've done it with every season. If that's the case, give her so much more involvement. Give her so much
yeah,
more of a character. Like she was so like I wouldn't even call her one dimensional, man. She was just a template for things to be said, and oh, I got to stay focused because unfortunately this show is not focused. But the biggest issue with it is, and I say this pretty much about everything these days, is the rule of show don't tell never applies to this freaking series, this season. It's everyone explaining how they're feeling. It's everyone talking about who is to blame. It's everyone talking about what's going to happen next. There's never any visual kind of storytelling in this season at all, and that's what kills it for the most part. Because you get Steve and Dustin having the
oh dude,
bickering. It's like, get over it. We've done this before a million times. Shut up. I get it. Move on. You get freaking Elle and Hopper again, doing again what they've done a million times. Is like, you have to trust me. I'm strong and capable. No, you're my surrogate daughter. I have to care. We've seen this a million times. There's
the love
no,
triangle thing.
we went absolutely nowhere again. Because by the end of the show, it's like they've all gone their separate ways. She belongs in a TV sitcom. He's basically becomes Sam Raimi, and Steve becomes the adopted surrogate father to the whole town's kids because he's a baseball coach.
Yeah,
I hated that. That was probably the weakest scene for me was that rooftop sequence with the four of them: Jonathan, Steve, Nancy, and Robin. I was just like, what is this, man? Like, they're all talking about their careers and where they've
yeah,
gone and come
yeah.
back.
Let's agree to
It's like,
come back here in a couple. It's so cringe, man. A lot of cringe shit there.
they were they were meant to be the supporting roles, the supporting characters that became fan favorites. Steve was the only fan favorite. Everybody tolerated Nancy, everybody tolerated Jonathan. Robin was fun for one season, then they gave him nothing to do except be the gay card. They gave the gay card finally to Will, even though we all knew he was gay. That's the second most annoying scene. And I saw a meme. This is from my own research. I saw a meme actually that scene where Will finally opens up about being gay to his
Yeah,
friends. That scene went longer than the final battle between Vecna and the Mind Flayer, bro. And I couldn't help but laugh for a few minutes thinking about that. Like, wow,
yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right, so you're
That's
telling me a scene about a character talking about who they are, and we already know what the fuck they are. I wish in that scene everybody just went, "We know Will. We know you're gay.
yeah,
Alright, let's move on." It would have been more sentimental, you know, because they were comfortable with who he was, even though he didn't know who he was himself. Instead of it being like this tear-jerking moment, I was like, "I'm so proud of you for coming
but
out."
why? That was
When in
very
reality,
forced in. That why did they do that
oh my
in the
god,
last
it was
second?
forced.
In the last second of the
So
show,
forced.
it's like let's just put this LGBTQ. It's like it was like written
Oh.
10 years ago or something. Like you don't
That's
do
right.
this.
It was written, you gotta remember, this show
Yeah,
was written 3 years ago, and it
yeah,
got
back.
delayed and blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah. It was so not necessary, man. It was just like, oh, get the fucking to the point. And there was no point. Because the biggest thing that this show had for
no,
me was understanding Henry a bit more,
bro.
and it
But
went absolutely nowhere.
okay, Henry. So I thought he was good, and then he became bad, and then he became kind of good again, and then bad again though. But it's
He
like,
was never good.
but
And
they made him
I
so okay. I was interested in him as a character. I wasn't sure he was good or bad. Even you said that, I think, in the last review. You said you're not sure if he's
well,
good
I
or
didn't know
bad.
where they were going with it because it
Yeah,
was still a mystery, like what he was doing with the kids.
and I hate
And
what
I
they did
and
with
I
him.
I had a theory.
I
Yeah,
hate it.
exactly.
In
Because I had a
the
theory.
episode 5, he was
Here you
good.
go.
Then after that, he sucked. Season, like, he had a bit of not mystery to him, but I really liked his acting. Like, everything about him was great, and then he became a generic, like, Joker, B grade Joker without makeup. Like, the way
Yeah,
he started,
he had plenty of makeup.
he's, I don't know. I thought they really dropped the ball with him big
Severely.
time. Yeah,
Because
that's all I
because
want to say.
no, but you're right, because they keep bringing back this moment where it's like, Henry can't walk into this cave. There's something about this cave that terrifies him. And there was mysteries like, oh, what is it? This ultimate villain who's afraid of something. There's a human side to him still. Wow.
He can follow
And
you
then we find out what
anytime,
it is.
anywhere. He knows where you are, and like, it's freaky. It's almost like an It
Sort of.
Follows kind of situation. It seemed like almost
Yeah.
a horror, like and it was like scary. It's like that's a scary guy. You don't want him near you. But then every time I see him, he's just like a goofball that's trying to like play good to kids. I don't know. Yeah,
Um, sorry, I was
yeah, I know.
no, like, yeah, so they introduced this thing about him, like, okay, there's this cave, and he's afraid of it. That there was mystery to be had, like, what is he afraid of? And then we find out in the final episode is this traumatic moment of him, um, where he sees his character and it defines why he hates the world and all that. But you assume because they're going to introduce a plot device like that, that it's going to have a following effect on the
Yeah,
rest of the narrative. But it goes nowhere because he's like, it doesn't matter. I am still who I am,
I have a
despite
choice.
this traumatic fear that I've been
Yeah,
avoiding. It went like I feel like originally they wrote it that was the moment that Henry just started to have a change of heart. But because of whatever restraints, time restraints, blah 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 restraints, they said no, no, no. This doesn't mean anything. He's still a bad guy. He still chooses to be evil. And I was like, what was then? If that was the case, what was the point of introducing this narrative? Because there's no follow through with what this reveal. The reveal doesn't make him weaker. The reveal doesn't make him stronger. The reveal doesn't place the good guys in a position where they can get the upper hand on him. It amounted to absolute nothing.
flat. It was so flat.
So it was such a missed opportunity to give Henry some form of redemption when you realize that Vecna isn't Henry. Henry is trapped inside Vecna, but Vecna's being controlled by the Mind Flayer, and have this moment where maybe even Vecna helps L and the others finish off the Mind Flayer because without Vecna, they don't stand a chance against the real villain, which is the Mind Flayer. Do a Darth Vader, throws bloody Palpatine down the well and saves his son kind of moment before he dies. I would have enjoyed that, but instead it's just like, no, I need the Mind Flayer, and the Mind Flayer needs me. Okay, cool. If that's gonna be his character, cool, but don't give him this stupid little backstory that goes absolute nowhere. So that was the biggest disappointment in terms of plot devices of the season, was just introducing a villain without needing to introduce a villain, because this flashback of his amounts to nothing, and he's the same person that we knew and thought we knew in season 4. Yeah, so Will was the second biggest disappointment because I was really enjoying what they were doing with him for the first 4 episodes. He was getting involved. He was no longer the victim. He was no longer being whiny. He's his telekinesis or his connection to Henry was serving a purpose. Funny of which, after episode 4, just seems to go. He doesn't even have it anymore. He can't even sense Vecna's corpse anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Eh?
Like they're literally in the other dimension. We're about to face him, and you can't. I feel nothing. Oh, okay. So yeah, that was disappointing as well, man, because they brought him up to be this kind of Superman kind of figure, only for the next episode to say, "Nah, not good enough," and then he just whines and whines. "I'm not. Oh, I'm just gonna let the team down. Oh, I'm so weak." This is you bloody wanker.
They could have made him
Seriously.
memorable, but he became very unmemorable. Like he could have been the next, in The Walking Dead, the guy with the thing in his back and the black leather jacket. He became a meme.
Daryl.
Daryl? No, he came in season 6 and um he baseball batted the Asian guy on the head. Remember
Oh,
that?
Negan.
Negan. Like Negan became a character that everyone very popular, a very popular character. That's one example, but I thought he was going to become another one of that. Like they were going to do something with him. That's like, I remember I said on the first volume they need to do something new. They need like a new character that like I know it's too late now to put new characters. I'm like they need something new. So I thought I'm like, oh, he Henry like, um, this character seems very new, fresh, but they became very generic for me, like almost like the Joker, like that's like kind of the that's what he's either like, oh hello, yes, or he was like that was his two modes. You know what I'm saying though? Like in front of the kids, he was like, yes, kids, you are correct. And then when he's not with the where's Jared? Jared, hello? He'll agree. Jared would agree with me if he was here, Mark. But you know what I'm saying though?
I mean, yeah, I get it, but I wouldn't compare him to the Joker because he's not as charismatic. He's got a very Terminator stare. You
I
know what I
said
mean?
B
That's how
grade
I'd
without
like
makeup.
describe
Like
him.
it was,
Ah, so Jared
it
Leto.
was it was a
Okay,
distant reference. I'll say that
okay.
as a professional connoisseur. Yeah. Anyway,
But
just Henry sucked. He sucked. He's
yeah,
unmemorable. Who cares about him? Vector was cool in the
yeah.
first couple of episodes, and then he became some. I thought he was tall. There was some made him like he's an 8 foot giant. But then he met when he was on the stake, he's like like he's 5'2". He looked 5'2" on the stake. You know what I mean? When she was
Guess
cutting his
it
head.
could be a visual choice to like make him look smaller. I don't know, but
But that chopping scene though, where she was chopping his head, was kind of cathartic. I still felt that. Did you feel that?
I mean,
It was a very
again, it was
cathartic
one of the
moment.
few moments where it's like show don't tell, where they're having everyone's trauma, as they're watching Joyce chop his head off. It's like reminding all the damage this character's done throughout the seasons. All right,
Yeah,
fair enough.
I saw it as a
Um,
cathartic thing. Like, yes, you all can finally let go. Like this piece of crap, you can finally let go. You know.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Um, I'm just glad they gave her something to do.
I
Because
know.
Joyce
She's an
Joyce was
engineer, right?
in
She went to MIT because
Joyce.
I thought she worked at a convenience store. She worked at a convenience
I
store,
think at
right?
one point she did.
Yeah. So how did she
Yeah.
become some engineer that in the first couple episodes she's like, oh, I figured out a solution to this. We get the geometric resistor, we attach it, then we can get the signal. Remember, she had this big idea in the beginning of this season.
She was in this season.
Yeah,
Alright,
the beginning of this season, she had this like engineer. I think she engineered, but somehow it requires like 20 years of electrician knowledge. Like, where did she get all this knowledge from? It's almost like she became an engineer that was a plot fixer at a certain spot. Like that's kind of what they made her out to be. But then she didn't end up becoming that anyway. She ended up just like no one cares about her anyway. But I'm saying in the beginning they set her up as like an engineer that was gonna like,
are we talking about the same character? Are we
yes,
talking about
motherfucker.
Will's mother?
Mm.
I'm
And
just trying to think of what she engineered.
there was that scene where Will was with her. She's like, Will, I possibly know how to get to Vecna, and she built this signal device thing that can find Vecna.
I can't remember.
Well, yeah, I'm saying,
Okay,
yeah, she did, right, and
okay.
she shouldn't be able to. But yeah, she is a character that I really liked from the first. We talked about this before, but I really liked her in the first season. Like, like wow, she deserves an Oscar basically. And
Yeah,
now that she
she
became
did.
like just almost like she became a schizo. She's just like she became a schizo the rest of her life.
Yeah, she acts like that. She's high all the time, and but I can't remember her doing anything of significance in this whole season other than supporting whoever someone else is doing something for, mainly with Will, for like eight episodes, man. And it's just like it's just one fine example of the writers not really knowing what to do with the cast that they have. There was too many. Oh, what's the word? Too many.
Cooks in
Not
the
too many
kitchen.
chefs in the kitchen. Yeah, I guess too many cooks for sure in the kitchen. And it's like if you don't know what to do with the characters, fucking kill them off. Take them out of the show. And what is worse, they introduced basically two new characters, like Holly, who was never really a character. She was just the younger daughter. They made her a very central character in this. And uh Derek, dipshit Derek, who it was fun, but, again, like, they were stirring the pot to basically say these characters could become a spin-off for a new series if we
Yeah,
choose to take it that way. Instead of giving this final season all the focus it deserves and needs for its fans who have been loyal to it for 10 years, um, no, they decided to add even more freaking characters into the mix to give them conjecture, to give them random convoluted material, and as a result, it puts everyone else in the back burn. Like Lucas had very, very small screen time in this season, as opposed to him in the fourth season. He was essential. Um, Max coming back from a coma mounted really next to nothing. They should have kept her in Vecna's mind. I really, really thought and wished that they made it out that she couldn't escape. Because for a couple episodes, she's trying to get Holly out of Vecna's mind. And it's always kind of like, "You're coming with me, aren't you, Max?" And Max is like, on the backbone, like, yeah, I'm coming with you." So I'm thinking, "Ah, cool, this is what they're gonna do." She can't escape him. She's still trapped in his mind, and the only reason why her physical body is still alive is because Vecna's still alive, you know? And I thought it would have been, again, a beautiful thing to do is like lead these characters to come to this moment of realizing we have to accept the fact that Max will die, that other characters will die, and still make that choice. Which, if this TV series is supposed to basically conclude that these characters are now adults, that's a very adult thing and theme to have, is to accept death as part of life. You know, they teased it with Eleven several times. They teased it with Hopper through a few seasons that he died, but no, he's still alive. He comes back in the show. Have some of these essential characters that we've loved for several seasons actually die. Max dies, Will dies, Eleven dies, okay? And they don't get to become adults. And their friends have to deal with it because it was a choice they made in order to save the world or whatever, and they have to live with it as part of life. Death is a part of life. You know, just give some
I was thinking
more impact on the show.
maybe they had to choose between saving Maxi, killing the beasts. Like they had to kill
That's
the
what I'm
beasts
saying.
at a certain time. If they waited too long, it would have been too risky, and the Earth would have been destroyed. But so they ended up sacrificing Maxi. Then that whole arc she went with her, the blonde haired girl, which for me
Holy.
honestly, Holly, I was bored because I didn't feel like it went anywhere. That story kind of
Mhm.
just like, oh, I'm out of my traumatic event now. Give me a hug, everyone. Is that kind of how it went? Like,
Yeah, I agree. She was a fine actress, but her character's purpose and all that
yeah,
in
the
the show was
purpose
really
of she went
unnecessary.
through this whole literally June freaking journey. I thought it was gonna be like a special journey of a lifetime, and it ends up just being like not really that spirit like that special. And we spent a lot of time with her. Like, dude, I didn't want to
Well,
see
yeah,
her. I want to
like
see someone else over there. I want to see that pigeon over there.
she's the battery, right? She and the other kids are the batteries to
Oh, yeah.
generate this whole collision of worlds
But she,
kind of thing.
you led
It
nowhere
was
though. Yeah,
unnecessary. It didn't need for her to be the central character because again, another thing they read is that Holly's character, this performance that was brand new to this season, because prior to this season she's just been a background character. Holly got more screen time than most of the key characters, man.
Yeah.
She did. She got more screen time than a lot of the main cast. And again, it's like them trying to say, well, Holly could become the new thing if we do a spin-off. Holly's still young and she'll be able to. I hope that doesn't happen
Dude,
because it does
when
a
she was in
disservice
the
to the show.
show, I felt like I was watching a B grade horror that was set in the
Okay.
50s or something. Like I didn't like her at all.
Okay.
She she just didn't fit the vibe. I don't know. I thought she was a waste of
It's
time.
probably because you're watching a new character that hasn't even been in the show until season 5. So it's like,
Well, they shouldn't do
why do I
that.
care?
Well, yeah.
Exactly. Again, give the other characters more focus. This is the last time we're going to see them on the screen. These are the characters that we've come to grow up with and enjoy. Um, but no, instead they put them on the backbone and give her all this center of attention, which I didn't mind her performance. I thought she was great, but for me, I was like, is it really necessary? No, no, I don't need this. Give it to someone else that we already know. And again, the only character that really dies is a character that hadn't been in the show since season 2, and she was the worst thing about season 2. And they brought her back only to use her powers once, which is creating illusions, and then she gets killed off. It's just again, it's just lazy writing 101, man. No stakes. Have one of the key characters die or get shot, and you know they're eventually going to die in one of these episodes.
Even that's
You know,
cheap
it's just
though. That's like a cheap win. Even if they
what do
did
you mean?
that, even if they did that, it still wouldn't have been a good show, a good season.
Kill
If
off key characters.
yeah, like you
Well, I
can't
mean,
just
like
kill off someone that like, hey, he's a main character, slit throat and gets raped.
that's not going to happen. No, what I'm saying is just give the season more stakes, man. Have us like emotionally involved. We didn't have any of that, man. Like, if you're gonna rewind it back to season 1, I think it was episode 3 when everyone thinks Will died. Everyone thought Will died, and it was a huge emotional scene, man. It was the kids finding his body in the dam drowned, supposedly. And there's the police and the paramedics like bringing his body out. There's Hopper who failed trying to find his kid. It's a huge emotional moment, and it was a tearjerker, man. The whole world was like, "What? They killed him off? Really?" That feeling, that like shock of like emotion was not in this season at all, man. Because there was never a moment where I was believing that these guys were gonna be even close to dying. I did have that with Eddie. When Eddie died in season 4, it was huge, you know, because he became a fan favorite, man. But the show had the balls to not only kill his character, but keep him dead. Because honestly, deep down, I was waiting for Eddie to come back into it somehow. I was waiting for Eddie to like somehow be alive in the upside down or whatever, and Dustin was gonna save him. I'm glad they didn't do that because Eddie's death was a punctual impact for Dustin's like transition. You know, Dustin at first is very bitter. He's hating on the world because of what happened to Eddie. But eventually, there is a cathartic arc for him to realize, you know, you need to live for Eddie. Eddie made a choice. You need to deal with it. That significance of death being a part of life should have had an impact in this season as well with several characters, but it doesn't. Everybody walks out of it unscathed, man. There's no emotional trauma from their experience. There's no physical scars. Even
No,
Max somehow like is revitalized 100%. She like had her entire body broken and her eyes gouged out in season 4. And she's not even blind. Like she physically should be blind permanent for the rest of her life. But no, the show just wanted to like revitalize her completely so she can go on being the skater girl. It was like, dude, come on,
yeah, it's like
really?
it's. I feel like they did an Avatar effect where Avatar has the spectacle. It looks great, but who cares? You're watching a bunch of colors, but there's no emotion to it. That's why with
For sure.
every intense action scene, with every time Vector's like, "You're going to die," or not like that, but he says it doesn't it doesn't mean anything because I know it's not going to happen. They're not going to do that.
No.
They're not going to kill off anyone. They're not going to take any risks. So I don't care if you throw a grenade. It's like watching a video in reverse, not like you knowing exactly if the person gets injured or not, and then watching
Mhm.
it and going, I don't know why I made
Well,
that point. That was weird, but it goes to something.
well, another good example of emotional weight. Back to season 4. There's the cathartic moment where they defeat Vecna. Everyone has their moment to shine. Hopper kills a Demogorgon. All right, it's a huge moment because the Demogorgon has been this real physical menace for a while. Like they're
It's
kind of
been a
like this.
holy man. Yeah.
It's been a yeah. They've they're a threat. So when Hopper has no choice but to pick up a sword to try and finish off this Demogorgon, it's a big moment. It's like, oh, going like toe to toe, like hand to hand combat with a Demogorgon. No, we've seen what these things are capable of. But he manages to dismember it, like takes an arm off, then he takes its head off, and it's a great heroic moment. Like, yeah, F yeah to Hopper. In this season, they introduce a bunch of Demogorgons. There's more than just one. There's multiple of them, and they wreak havoc on the soldiers. They like don't even hesitate to chop off their arms and like split open their rib cages and take off their heads. Cool, but then every time it comes to the main character, they for some reason they're slow. For some reason they're just like looking at them before they go to swipe or avoid them altogether. And when they do eventually get killed, there's no emotional weight to it because we know from what we've already experienced that when it comes to the main characters, they no longer pose a threat. No emotional baggage
Yeah,
whatsoever.
that took away straight away.
Speaking of which, where were they in the final episode, bro? Where were the
Yeah,
Demogorgons and the Doggo Gorgons and the
shouldn't there be
Bat things?
an
None of
army?
that.
There should be like an army of them. There should be like a
Yeah,
freaking
because yeah, according to the season, all these creatures come from that plane of existence where the Mind Flayer lives, not the Upside Down. So whatever we saw in the Upside Down, which was a lot of them, there should have been a million times more of them in this desert dimension, which apparently has nothing except the Mind Flayer. Again, it's just another lazy plot MacGuffin,
You
man,
know
just
what
to
kind of
get
would
it
have
out of
been
the
cool?
story.
If there was a bunch of demigorgons and it was a fight between Vecna and Will Mind to control the demigorgons, and eventually they start going to one side to another, and eventually Will's thinking I should get them to fight each other, and then the demigorgons start fighting each other, something like that, something like that. Yeah,
I thought that's where they were going with it
it would have been
because of what
cool.
happens in episode 4. Will takes control of the Demogorgons and destroys them. I was waiting for that to happen, that Will gets his own army,
And his
basically, of
name's Will. It's
Demogorgons
also who
to
has a
it.
stronger will because the vector's like you. The more you resist, the more pain you feel. It's almost like he wants to. He wants to. It's like where's the depth in that? Like he wanted
Yep.
compete against someone's mind, and he wants to see that he's stronger than his mind. They kind of set that up, and but they go nowhere with that at all. It's just like I'm going into your mind, and then that's it. That's just another scene that they forget about. They could have added that.
Yeah,
They could have used that for the main boss fight. It could have been more of that.
for sure.
Damn it.
And I said it from the beginning, man, this story should have ended with Will because generally what we get from season 1, the story starts when Will is kidnapped. It should have ended when Will either triumphs over Vecna, and in my personal belief, Will should have died. Because one, I felt like his powers only worked because he was connected to Vecna. And they establish it that the closer he is to Vecna, the more stronger he is. Right? That's why he was being so OP during that scene in episode 4, because Vecna was right there. You know, he just left. So it would have been a very cathartic moment if it comes not 11. 11 doesn't save the day. 11 does her job, but it's Will that makes the final haymaker and finishes Vecna. And again, it's him making a choice, knowing full well that when he kills Vecna, he too will also die because of his connection to Vecna,
Mm-hmm.
as well as Max. You know, Max fighting Vecna in their minds because she's trapped in his mind. You know, she somehow takes advantage of his mind and scrambles his brain or screws up his memories or whatever. You know, plays him with the 11 and the others are doing the physical fight, and Will's the one that comes in with the final strike and finishes him off. Um, to me, that would have been a lot more impacting and a lot would have made narratively a lot more logical sense. You know, instead of having everybody live happily ever after, which I get it. We want it, it's kids friendly. We want to see these kids grow up and become adults, but it gets to a certain point, man, where it's like you got too many characters, man. Get rid of them because you're not going to have a stoic ending for all of them. A lot of them are going to become so
Mm.
flat and mundane, in which there is a lot of flat, mundane endings. I did not care about what happened to Jonathan. I did not care what happened to Nancy. I did not care what happened to Robin. Like Robin's girlfriend disappears in the show as well. Like what happened to Robin's girlfriend? Who cares? Doesn't matter. Why introduce her then if that's how it's gonna fucking play out? Um, Dustin, honestly, I'm gonna give it props, man. And you might want to put the scene in a little earlier in the edit. I did tear jerk when they were playing their final game of D&D. I thought that was a great ending, and honestly, the show should have ended in that scene. Because again, it's poetic. Like this whole like this, the very first thing we see the kids doing is playing D&D. You know, Mike being the storyteller and whatnot, and it's them leaving. And I'm pretty sure if I look into it, that sequence was probably the last sequence they all filmed because them crying and their
Legit.
emotional attachment, it felt legit. It seemed real to me. Them putting the books down on the shelf, knowing it's probably the last time they're ever gonna actually use these books, you know, because they're all adults now. They're all going their own ways, man. And it's the Rob Reiner Stand By Me tearjerker of like, you know, nothing is forever. They're no longer kids, man. They have to move on and do their own thing as adults, and it's a farewell. That was a tearjerker. That really got me. Um, Unfortunately, it is stapled with a lot of an hour and 30 minutes of other generic gibberish that I could have done without.
Yeah. Um.
Dustin, having his little speech at school, that
Oh,
was really cool
yeah.
because it wasn't his speech, it was Eddie's speech. It was what Eddie said he would do when he graduated this year. He was going to go up onto the podium, he was going to snatch his little thing, give the finger to the principal, and blah, blah, blah. So that was a good send off to remember Eddie in tribute. But at the same time, it's tarnished by the fact that the whole town still thinks Eddie was his psychopathic killing murderer. There was no like news reports saying Eddie was innocent, blah
uh,
blah 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 blah. All's right in the world. He still went down to his grave with everyone assuming he was a murderer, except for those that were involved.
Dude, man, I wonder how many gay jokes are gonna come out of this though.
There's
Like
already been so many.
Vector did it. You know, he delivered his message. He wanted to put his gayness into like Will or something. And the next season, Vector's trapped within Will's gayness.
I've seen one. It's a meme again where it's the final shot of Will. I'm guessing he's in a bar in a city, probably in San Francisco, I guess. Wink, wink. And there's Jeffrey Dahmer there talking to him. He's like, "Oh, it's all uphill for Will from here on out."
Yeah.
Oh, look, I don't care if he's gay.
No.
You know, be gay, but don't make it a poignant thing about his character.
Well,
Like, is
I
that
do
what the
care that that they made him gay in the last seat in the last episode, freaking two
No, no,
minutes.
no, no. He was always gay, man. It was always wink, wink, wink in joked, but it was never spoken out loudly.
But they're too young,
The
man,
prob-
to even insinuate. They shouldn't even be insinuating, man.
they're in the late high school, man. And most people find themselves when they're at that point, I guess. It's a cool, be gay. I don't care. Just don't make it this whole political moment of like I said, we're gonna have a moment of him talking about being gay that goes longer than the final conflict against the villain. Just like, dude, if you want to do that, like, have a spear and then strike Vecna and go, I'm gay.
Mm.
And, yeah.
I don't know, man. This
We've been
review's gone
talking a
for a
lot, man.
while. Yeah, it's a while.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
think
edit this one.
I think final verdicts is in order, and I won't be
Well, it's
apologetic about this one.
no, I think we're gonna have to give the season a rating, but then the whole show a rating as well, right?
Yes, okay, I'll do that. I'll go first as usual.
Yep.
I'll give the season a freaking a 4.5, man. A 4.5 is just is a below average. I think that's mean. I think that's pretty mean, but the whole show in general, I'll give it a it's tough, man. Probably like a
Positives with the negatives.
6.5. I like my point fives, man. They save me from a lot of grief. Six, um, six because you got all the good seasons. That I don't want to leave the whole show at a six. I feel it's 6.5. How about you, Mitch?
Cool. I'm gonna give the season 5 a 5 out of 10.
Yes, that's what I
Um,
was thinking. Is it average? And I think no, it wasn't even average. It was just
the first
yeah,
half was great. It was a big build up. The plots were all slowly coming up. And then the final 4 episodes occurred, and there was just so that mixed with the whole show, 5 seasons, I don't know, I'll probably give the show a 6.5 out of
6.5.
10.
Let's just do quick math.
First season,
First
no,
season
I
a
don't know my
10.
math.
Second season a 10. A third season 3. A fourth season 4 was this is a quick, probably a 7 or an 8. Season 5 is like a 6. You divide it by 5. Oh no, for me it was a 4.5, sorry. Therefore,
Okay.
I'll give my total a 6.9 out of 10.
Alright, cool.
That's
Do me
well.
now.
So what's the first season for you? 10?
First season for me
9?
would be a 9
9?
out of
Yeah.
10. Second season would be an 8.5 out of 10. It's ruined by that one particular episode that you'll know what I'm talking about. Um, Season 3, I would give a 3 out of
Yeah,
10. I
yeah.
absolutely hated that freaking season.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Season 4, I would give an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
And season 5, a 5 out of 10.
A 5 out of 10, which comes the total of a 6, 7. Mitch,
Close enough.
6, 7.
Close enough.
You know the meme? The South.
Oh gosh. Yeah, South Park,
I
6,
gotcha.
7. 6, 7.
I hate that.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
All right. Well, that I think is very disappointing. Conclusion. Freaking, it's been 5 seasons, but the show's been going on for like what 10 years, 9 years.
Yeah, 10,
So
I think.
for the kids, this would have been a really emotional like kind of thing for them because they've been in this show more than they haven't. Like 9 years in the show is a lot more than Lord of the Rings, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Same rant runs, same span time as Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
So yeah, it sucks, man. It like, I mean, wrong choice of words. You know, the actors. We can hate the characters, but yeah, the actors grew up on this show, and hopefully they can all go and do their own things. Some of them deserve it. Some of them not so much. Maybe some of them don't even want it. Um, I know Sadie Sink has already got a foot in the door with a lot of projects, and she was my favorite character, especially in season 4. I have high hopes for her with a career because she's pretty damn good. Um, Millie Bobby Brown, she can get on my nerves. I think she's the byproduct of having celebrity status way too young.
yeah. Every time I look at her face, I see a spoiled brat. Every time I look
Sad
at
truth.
her face, just like I see her
Sad
whole
truth.
Hollywood fame bullshit in her eyes. Especially when
Yeah.
that scene where she was like gonna die. It's almost like yes, I am above. Well, where she was she's ethereal, better than everyone. Uh,
I enjoyed her when she was younger and more innocent in the show. I think her playing the innocent kid that doesn't know how the world works was a much more better character. When she
I enjoyed
became
everyone.
self-aware.
Except Will, I
Oh yeah, for
guess.
sure.
Most kids would. the kids are just better when they were like 6. Now they're just like
Well,
kind of awkward and
I enjoyed the performance of Will. He's a whiny little bitch, but he whined and he bitched really well. If that makes any sense, especially in the first couple seasons, because he's a kid. You know what I mean? He's a scared kid who doesn't know what's going on and what's happening to him.
piece of
Fair
shit.
enough.
Just keep laying on.
Then yeah, and then he was the byproduct of bad writing, man, more than anything else. I mean, most of this cast were the byproduct of the bad writing. Um, but yeah, that comes to serve you when you have a TV show that goes as long as Stranger Things has. The quality does eventually diminish, and it's one of the reasons why I usually avoid TV shows.
Yeah,
You know, Game of Thrones taught me a lot. You know,
yeah,
you can't have too much of a good thing; it usually gets tarnished. So that's why I strongly believe movies are always the way to go, because they are forced to have an ending. They are forced to have a short runtime. So everything you put into it needs to be perfected instead of thought about seasons later, as most TV shows do. And this is a good example of that. Um, is it the worst ending to a TV show? No. But is it a great ending to a TV show? Also, no. It could have been a lot better. And it's kind of sad when I say I enjoyed the second half more of this episode than I did the first half. Because the first half to me was just all, let's try and copy the Avengers kind of clash instead of
yes,
being its own thing. The conclusions to the kids growing up, graduating, they're always going to be an easy sentimental tearjerker, and it gets me every time. So
yeah.
that's why it's a 5 out of 10. It's just 50-50 on where I feel about it.
All right, well that wraps up this episode. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. And happy New Year! I hope you all have New Year's resolutions. Bye.
I don't. Bye.